Alright people, welcome to day 2 of beginners forms with HTML and CSS. So the last time we had a tutorial, or the last time we met, let me say, we were able to do this. We were able to make the structure, the skeleton of a form. Okay, so we're able to add a title, which is essential for the user to know what they're going to do. You need a title in a web page. So yeah, we added a title. You might want to sign up. Then we had a name, which is corresponding input box. We had an email, which is corresponding input box. Then we gave it a type of email, if you remember. Then we have an age here, age input here, where we also gave it a type of number, so that we can type only numbers inside. So these arrows actually show us where we can type. Then we gave a min of 10 and a max of 21. So we can go up to 21, but we can go beyond 21. Then a password input box that allows us to type passwords without actually seeing the individual characters of the password. Then we have a gender section where we can choose our genders, either male or female. So we can choose both because nobody's male and female at the same time. But we can just choose one. Okay. Alright, so looking back at our design, this is our design. So we are still sticking to this design, and then at the end of today we'll be able to learn how to center things up on a page, and also how to style things up a little to make it look a bit nicer. Okay, but we wouldn't be doing everything today, so I'm just going to we're going to do just the basic part of it. Then day 3 we are going to complete this. Okay, alright. I have my code editor here, which is Visual Studio Code, and then I've opened up live server so that we can have live reloads. Okay, so if you're using Visual Studio Code, you can get the extension live server, which gives you live reloads, and then it's just awesome, makes our life easier. Okay, so if I just anything I do is gonna give me live reload. Okay, so it should automatically refresh the page so that we don't have to keep refreshing by ourselves. Okay, so that's just what this is for. And before we continue, I added something to the age input. Okay, this input for the age, I added input mode, which is an attribute I found on the internet, which helps that if we are on the mobile, we can just click on the age input and then we get a number keyboard straight up, so we don't have to switch to number keyboard. But so this helps the mobile users to just get a keyboard for numbers automatically when they click activate the input box. Okay, so that's just a cool thing I learned online, so I think you should probably be using that as well. Awesome. So now let's add some styling to this, but before that, let's look at our design and see we have everything that is needed. Your name. Alright, so let's just fix things up here. So here is now going to be we'll add another one. You can just copy this. Alright, just copy that, then we'll come down here. Okay, you might as well add a break tag, so add a break tag there. Okay, so add a break tag, then I'll see okay, so I think we wouldn't be needing labels anymore, so we can do away with all the labels. Okay, I'll show you why in a second. So we can remove all the labels. That's beginner stuff. We are getting intermediate here, so we can even advanced stuff. You still need a label for some advanced stuff, but right now I'm just going to show you how to direct the user on what to do without using a label tag. Okay, alright, so if you check the design, let's look at the design real quick. You can see that here we have the label, or the directional message inside the inputs, not outside the inputs. Okay, so the way of doing this is so simple. We have an attribute that we put in inputs called placeholder. Okay, all I have to type here is placeholder, right? Cool. So I'll see what your name, just like this. Sorry, your name. So you see up here that we have your name written in there. Okay, so that's basically what we need it for. We have your name up in there inside the box itself, so anytime you start typing, it moves. And if you stop typing, or if you don't have anything in there, then we have that value coming in. Oh yes, that placeholder value coming in. Alright, So we'll do the same for the others. So I'll just say ID. Probably you can do away with the IDs, but I'll just say surname. Okay. Alright, cool. And I'll say placeholder. Placeholder is your surname. And I'll just say optional. Optional, right? Optional. Awesome. Then we'll have a few dots there. So we are telling them that this is optional. Let's get back to the design. Alright, so we have this here. Then we have your email, your password. Awesome. So let's finish this up. So we don't have input for age, so just do away with this. Alright, so we don't need a number there, so we just have for email and then password. So I'll just come here and I'll see placeholder your email. Okay, your email. And again, if you have any questions, you can just put them in the comment box. I'll check them out and then I'll address them all in a sequential order. So just throw comments, throw your thoughts right there in the comments box, and then we'll get moving. Right, cool. So again, I'll add the last placeholder, which is going to be for your password. Okay, your password. All right. Cool. So now we have this very input here. So if I make this a bit smaller, you can see that we have everything right there and set up. Awesome. Okay, what else do we have to do here? Change the button, right? Let's go is what I see here. So we change that to let's go, and we'll add one more input. Okay, so we'll see let's go. Awesome. So now that's let's go, right? Then we will come here to here. We'll duplicate this. Then we'll have one saying prefer not to say, right? So label for, let's just say prefer not to say. Okay, and we just copy that because that's pretty long. We just have to copy that, and then we give the same ID here. So remember, to link a label to an input box, you have to give the value of the 4 attributes the same thing to the ID. So they all have to kind of have the same value. Okay, so the 4 attributes here and the ID attributes should have the same value. Then we know that it is actually for that. Then I'll change this to prefer. So let's prefer not to say. Okay, prefer not to say. Awesome. So we are basically done with the markup. The markup is just like the HTML, the structure, the skeleton of our web page. Okay, so it's time to add some flesh to it. It's time to make it look nice. Okay, awesome. So again, we just have to create a CSS file. The way to do that is just to open up your sidebar. Just click on this file icon. If you're in Visual Studio Code, it should probably be the same thing, not something different if you're using a different text editor. So I'll just say style.css, and then that will be created out for me. Then in order to make my HTML communicate with my CSS, I'll then have to link it. Okay, I have to link it, and the way of linking it, you just have to link. This is how we do it. Just go link rel, which means relationship. So we just say style sheet. Okay, alright. Then we'll have href, which means hypertext reference. Then where are we referencing to? Where is our style sheet? So that's what you're asking for. So they're asking where is our style sheet, and we just have to put the name of the style sheet there. So right here, style.css. Then after you're done, if you want to make sure it works, you can just hold Control and click, and if it takes you there, that means it works. Okay, so that means this whole thing works. Good. So we are now in our CSS, and then we would like to bring in the fonts that we used for consider the font here is the font family here, or the way the font looks in the design is different from this one entirely. Okay, so you want to change that. So another way of doing it is a way of doing it, sorry, is to go to Google Fonts. I'll put a link in the description so you can check it out. So the fonts we use for the design here is Poppins. So if I come here and we go over here, okay, you know that you can see that it's Poppins over here. Awesome. So I've selected Poppins already. So all I have to do is copy this link tag, then paste that in my HTML. This HTML code is not CSS code, so we can paste that there. I'll put a comment and I'll say Google Fonts. Google Fonts, okay. And I'll paste that under here. Alright, so we have this pretty lengthy thing. So all for the fonts for the web for our website, okay. So now that we've added the fonts, nothing changes. You don't expect anything to change just by putting the link to the CDN, which means Content Delivery Network. So this whole link is a CDN link, okay. So we just copy the font family, right? Awesome. Then we are done with this. You can actually close it up. Awesome. Then what do we do next? We go to our CSS. Then we use a selector called the universal selector, which is just like an asterisk, okay, an asterisk. Then we so what this universal selector does is that it's applies the style that we put into it to every element. So you can see right now, if I comment this out, you can see that there's some padding, there's some margin, and I want to take that off for every element. So I put that in the universal selector. So putting that on, you can see that all the elements don't have a margin now. Can as well take away their paddings, which I don't think they have any. Yeah, so then we'll set the box sizing to border box. I'll put a link in the description about what this border box does, and you can actually go to MDN, Mozilla Developer Network, to get the reference. So specifies the behavior of the width and height properties. So yeah, the default was content box, okay, but nowadays we all use border box, which is much nicer, which is much I don't know, like greater than its predecessor, okay. Awesome. So now that we've done this, we will need to put roots, okay. So this roots here means just the roots. This root selector, it's like a pseudo selector, which if I say something, I'm just give a comment, it's a pseudo selector, okay. Pseudo selector, okay. So it's just like the body, just like this HTML tag here, sorry, this HTML tag we have here, it acts as this tag, okay, this right here. Awesome. So anything we apply to is just going to be for the whole page, just like the universal selector or just like the HTML tag. So I'll just paste this inside there. Then you can see that our fonts here has changed to Poppins. If you can see that it has changed to Poppins. Good. So now this looks nicer, and then it looks closer to our design here. Okay, so this is getting closer to our design. Then next up, I would like to change the color of the sign up here, then the color of the gender here too as well. So what I'll do here is I'll come to my HTML, this sign up, I'll have to there's no way of changing the color of an inline text without putting it in a span. So we have to put it in a span element. So a span element is an inline element, so it just falls in line with whatever we are doing. So I just see sign up, right? Good. So we are still going to have it there as a normal text, but right now it is in this text here is it's in its own element. Let me see. So it's in a span element, right? Awesome. So once we've done that, we need to change the color of the gender too. So I'll just give it a class. Class is an attribute. So if you want me to talk more about HTML attributes, you can just type in just go to your comment box and type in attributes, just then comment it out. Seeing that, I'll make videos on that. As many comments as I have, I'll just make videos on all the different attributes, or most of the different attributes, and the commonly used ones, and then how we use them. Okay, awesome. So I'll just give it a class of blue, right? Just a blue text, right? Then I'll take this same class and apply it for the span element here. So I also give it the same class because they are all going to have the same color. Okay, good. So I can just come here and do this quickly. I'll just say dot blue text. So we used the dot here because we are referencing an element with a class of blue text. So if you look at the what appears here, you can see that there's this element with a class of blue text. So we are selecting that. So we put a dot. So this dot basically represents the class, and then the blue text represents the value we have in there. Okay, so that's what's happening here. So then I have to take the color we used for our design. So this here, we use this color. So I'll just come and copy that. It's a hex color. Okay, that's a hex color. You don't have to worry much about it. We'll talk about hex colors later as we go on in this in. Okay, so you actually have to put a hashtag. Okay, so hashtag to get that. So you can see that now we have all of them showing up in blue instead of their normal black color. Okay, so we've changed that as well. Then we would like to make it a variable so that we can access it for other places as well. So we can, especially for this button here, so we can just see blue color. So this is how we create variables in CSS. We just put two hyphens, prefix the variable name with two hyphens, and the name of the variable. Then the normal CSS syntax, we put the colon, and then we end it with a semicolon. Okay, so I'll just copy this color there. I'll cut it from there, rather put it right here. So to access this color again is simple. I just have to say var. So var, then I put in the name of the variable. Okay, so this is going to give me the same outcome, but we are going to be able to use this variable throughout our page. So that's the advantage of using CSS variables. Okay, so I'll just comment here CSS variable. Alright, so I'll be putting this on my GitHub repo, so I'll link to the repo in the description, so you can click that and then have access to this and be able to understand what is here. So as we go on, I'll be leaving comments so that you don't get confused along the way if you are trying to code this on your own. Awesome. So now that we've done this, we have to take everything to the center. Okay, you have to take everything to the center. So I'll just see body. So body here is a selector, but this kind of selector we call it the element selector, the element or type selector. Okay, but I'll just prefer you call it element selector because it is an element from HTML. Looking here, you can actually see that it's an element from HTML. Awesome. So I'll give it a height. Okay, let me just give it a height of 100 VH. So 100 VH here is nothing confusing, it's nothing crazy. It means viewport height. So this the viewport height is basically the whole page, the height of the whole page. So from this here to the bottom here, that's the whole viewport height. So we are giving the body that whole viewport height. Okay, like I give this a border, you see what I'm talking about. So I'll give it a border of thick 3 pixels, solid. I'll give it a border style solid, and I'll give it a red. Okay, so you can see that now we have the red border around the body, showing that this is actually our body, and it's taking the full height of the screen. So from here, from the top to the bottom, it's taking the whole height. Okay, so that's basically what that does. Okay, awesome. So next up, we have to take everything to the center. Then here I'll be introducing a CSS concept called Flexbox, which I'll be making videos on too. So if you don't understand this, you just I'll try and explain as much as I can, but I'll make a video on this again, which will be an in-depth kind of dive into the whole Flexbox idea. So I'll give it a display of flex. So nothing much changes because we have only one flex. We have only one flex item, which is this form. The only child of the body here is the form. We don't have any other elements. But let's say in case I had an h1 after the form, which says, hey, I'm the second child. So you can see that we'll have that's showing up here. So you can see that now they are kind of there's this whole element here, this whole form element, and this h1 here, which are sitting side by side. Okay, so I can just change the flex direction to to column, so I see what I'm talking about. So if I change the flex direction to column, you can see that now this sits on top, this sits at the bottom. You can also see column reverse, then this will go to the top and that comes to the bottom. So you can see how that works. Awesome, good. But we are not going to be doing that today. We just wanted to show you the idea of flex. So it's only deals with direct children. If it's not a direct child, it's not going to work. Everything inside the form is, they are just grandchildren of the body tag, but not direct children. That's why they are not working. Okay, so right now the form is a flex item because its parent, the body, has been made a flex container. So I'll just give a comment as well. I'll say flex container made. So if you, anytime you put display flex, you are turning that element into a flex container, and its children are going to be flex items. Okay, so I'll do an align items of center, align items. You might want to type it well, or else you're not going to get a required outcome. Align item center, so it actually puts it in the center vertically. So align items deals with the vertical alignment. Okay, so it's like we have just like math class where we have the x-axis and the y-axis. Okay, so the align items acts on the y-axis, and then the justify constant, which we'll be talking about, deals with the x-axis. Okay, but their values can also change. Sometimes the align item is going to work on the x-axis, sometimes the justify constant is going to be working on the y-axis. Okay, depending on our flex direction. So if I make the video, we are going to be having that in-depth dive, and then we'll be able to understand every concept of flexbox. Okay, awesome. So I'll also say another flex property called justify content center. So that'll take you to the center horizontally. So you can see that now we have this whole thing in the center. Awesome. So we are done putting it into the center, just as we have in the design here. So you can see that this was right in the center of the page. All right, so now we need to create this whole card, kind of like, I don't know, this border, this box shadow around it, to make this look like it's not part of the body. Okay, awesome. So to do that, we just have to take the form, we'll give it a class. Okay, it's a class of form. Just gives a class of form again. You can select it with either the attributes, the element selector, just by typing form like this. Then you can just see maybe background color red. Okay, then it's going to give it a background color of red, but I prefer using the attributes, the class, to style things up. So it's going to be the same things because I gave the class of form. So mostly you like to use classes, but you can go with the element selector. You can write your CSS whichever legal way you want to write it. Awesome. So we wouldn't be needing the background color of red, but we need a box shadow. Okay, and I'll show you how the box shadow works. So first of all, we need the offset value for the y, the x coordinates. So we want to offset 3 pixels on the x. Then also we need for the y coordinates, we want to offset 3 pixels. Then you can see that we have that there, all of them to one. The y goes to the right, then the x goes to the bottom. Okay, so this is the x, this is the y. Then we need to blur it out a little. So the third value here is for the blur radius, so 10 pixels to blur it out a little. So now we have this kind of blurrity over here. Then there's another there's a fourth value for spread radius, how spread out the whole box shadow is going to be like. So this is how spread out the box shadow is. So this is not looking so nice, so we just go with a 3 now, and we'll give it a color. Okay, so I'm using a system of coloring, another CSS system of coloring, which is the RGB system of coloring, which is red for R for red, green for blue, G for green, and then B for blue. Okay, so that's how it works. Okay, so I just put in 3 zeros, which is still going to give us black, and I'll just bring us a / and do 112. So we have kind of a faint box shadow here. Maybe 15 will do. Awesome. So we have this faint box shadow here. Nice. So let's get back to the design again. So you can see that we've created that, but we needed to offset to the left and then the top a little. So to do that, we have to copy the values of this, copy everything we have here, then we bring a comma. Okay, we bring a comma. So I just go to the next line so that we see what's happening here. We bring a comma, then we just have to put -3 pixels on the x, -3 pixels on the y. So you can see that now we have the same kind of box shadow at all of the coordinates. Okay, all of the sides of the box are now having the same box shadow. Awesome. Then next, what do? We have to give it this a border radius. Okay, so if you check here, we have this kind of border radius here. It's doesn't have these sharp corners we have in our page. So to do that, it's simple. We just have to type in border radius, which is going to be, let's say, 20 pixels. So that will give us these round corners if you can see them. I think that's too kind of large, so we just make it 10 pixels. Alright, so 10 pixels is awesome. Keep it at 10. Okay, then we want it to display flex as well, so that we can deal with the contents of it. So we just call it display flex. Yeah, you can see what's happening right now. We have all of them going into one direction, which is the row direction. So to fix that, we just change the flex direction to column. Okay, column. So we have something like this, which is going to be in a column order. Alright, cool. So we have that's what we have now. Then we'll give us a padding of, so padding is the space between the elements and its border. If I give it a padding of 2m, it's going to have this kind of space there, right? So there's going to have the space between it and its border is going to be manifested. We are going to have some space between it and its border, whereas margin on the other side is going to be the space outside the elements. Okay, so the space and the space between the elements and its surrounding, but the padding is the space between the elements and its border. Okay, so this is looking awesome now. So we have gone very far, and I think we'll put a pause to the video right here so that you guys can go and try this out on yourself. To get up to this, please, you can even go further and research more, Google more, and try and see if you can finish this layout. Again, I'll put the link to this design file in the description so that you guys can have a hands-on with this and then see how you can do with it. Alright, so try this out, try and make it perfect, try and see if you can reach as far as this, and then I'll be pushing this to my GitHub repo so you can access the files from there and see what you can do with this. Alright, so again, thank you for watching, and then make sure you practice, make sure you keep getting obsessed, and until next time, I'll see you guys again. Peace out.